Fuck this movie. No, seriously. No joke, no exaggeration. This movie can just go screw itself. I fucking hate it with a burning passion. And I am so glad that it was voted for, by you, for me to tear into. Let's rip this trash apart. This is Disney's, without a doubt, worst movie, Chicken Little. It starts with a bit of narration.
Now, where to begin? How about once upon a time? How many times have you heard that to begin a story?
I know, it's almost like we were in for a good Disney movie.
I got it. Here we go. Here's how to open a movie. No, I don't think so.
I get it, Disney. You used to be cool. Get started with this piece of shit.
Here's what we're gonna do. Why don't I just go back to the day things took a turn for the worse?
Oh, so you mean start the movie at the beginning of the movie? What a fucking brilliant idea. It starts with Chicken Little ringing a bell and telling everyone to panic. And so everyone starts panicking. And yes, it's a world of anthropomorphic animals. Perhaps that explains why everyone is this unreasonably excitable. This panic eventually leads to a water tower falling over, and we cut to a clip of Indiana Jones. Do you know what's funny about this? I mean, not what's supposed to be funny, but what's actually funny. This was years before Disney owned Lucasfilm, so they had to pay for a failed joke. It's the closest thing to a laugh that this movie's going to give us anyway. The joke doesn't make sense because there are no humans in this world. So how are they watching a live-action movie of a human being? It's been 2 minutes, I'm not even nitpicking. You want nitpicking? It's amazing how that bull stopped panicking, calmed down, and applauded the mayor's new statue. We learn that Chicken Little thinks that the sky is falling. He claims that a piece of the sky, shaped like a stop sign, hit him in the head. Then Chicken Little gets hit by an acorn. This guy is Chicken Little's father. His name is Buck, and I hate him. He immediately shrugs off Chicken Little's story and claims that it was the acorn that hit Chicken Little in the head.
Dad, no. Quiet, son. This is embarrassing enough already.
Question: embarrassing for you or embarrassing for him? Because Chicken Little doesn't seem very embarrassed. Immediately, news reporters want to know what Chicken Little was thinking. He repeats gibberish 3 times. At this point, he is totally coherent. The town shouts at Buck and wanders off.
Tell you folks, my son, you know, kids do crazy stuff.
I hate you. If you do believe that it was an accident, why don't you, I don't know, console your son? Don't just fucking abandon him in humiliation in hopes that you'll save face. 1 year later, and apparently they're making a movie about Chicken Little. Between you and me, it's gonna suck. We get a bunch of background gags that I think are supposed to establish this world, but instead create confusion. That fish car, how does he get out of there and live his daily life? This may seem like nitpicking, but they put so much focus on the world that they've created without explaining how it works. Anyway, Dick here tells Chicken Little to lay low. Dude, it's been a year. If they haven't forgotten by now, they're not going to forget. Chicken Little vows that he's going to restore his reputation, and while Bowling for Soup makes this a little bit more bearable, I can explain more problems with the movie. The world keeps beating down Chicken Little in order to elicit sympathy from us. The problem is that he hasn't exactly done anything truly deserving of our sympathy yet. Yeah, sure, he hasn't deserved our scorn, but we need to like something about this guy. I mean, besides the fact that everyone hates him. Speaking of the world, you have to cut your main characters a break every once in a while. Whenever Chicken Little actually wins, he doesn't make it out unscathed. Instead of wanting to see him finally overcome adversity, it just ends up depressing. And on Chicken Little, this movie goes into great pains to show us how resourceful and smart he is. Not only is that going to bite this movie in the ass really hard, why would anyone with even adequate intelligence not only send the town into a frenzy, but repeat gibberish 3 fucking times? We cut to a class where we meet some of Chicken Little's friends. First is Runt.
President accounted for, Mr. Woolsworth. Whoa!
Haha, fat people are hilarious. Bite me, movie.
Porcupine, porcupine. Yo.
It's funny because the movie wants us to think he's the main character despite being in it only barely. I get that that's the joke, but it's not funny at all.
Fish out of water?
On a side note, this is a lazy-ass way to introduce your main characters.
Quite. Happy Mallard.
It's funny because she's ugly. At the gym, they're playing dodgeball because of course they are.
2 teams. Popular versus unpopular.
Rubbing the cruel, sadistic world in a little hard, aren't you?
Calm down, Ron. Just do what Fish is doing.
That's another problem with the movie. The pop culture references are obnoxious, and they're going to get me flagged for copyright. Chicken Little pops in, and we get a talking head scene. A talking head scene is where 2 characters do absolutely nothing but talking. I know they're playing dodgeball, but let's be serious. Nothing but talking is actually happening.
You said the sky was falling. Your dad didn't support you.
Thank you for telling us what we already know! Abby basically says that Chicken Little needs to talk things out with his father in a way that the writers think is funny. Speaking of things that the writers think are funny, Just referencing something does not make a joke funny. For the record, that's something this movie does not understand. At all. Seltzer and Friedberg understand it better than this movie. But hey, it's something that Shrek was doing, so maybe if we could do it too, we can make shit! Anyway, Abby gets hit with a ball, and Chicken Little tries to stand out to Foxy Loxy. He pretty much gets tortured a bit, and ends up pulling the fire alarm. Why the fuck are you running? You saw him pull the alarm! And his paper pants dissolve. Chicken Little's father gets called in by...
And the fire alarm? Ever since that sky falling incident.
the principal from Goof Troop?
Science slumber parties!
Okay. Then we learn that Buck was an ace sports athlete, and the principal flat out says that Chicken Little is nothing like Buck. Wow, it's not often that a principal gives a kid the highest of compliments after pulling a fire alarm.
That's all right. It's fine. You don't have to explain anything.
Not that you'd listen. On the ride home, Chicken Little says that he wants to join the baseball team.
Just please try not to get your hopes too high.
I hate you, you miserable pile of shit.
Oh, Chloe. If only you were here. You'd know what to do.
I don't know. How about be involved in your son's life? How about stop being embarrassed by your son's mere existence? It's not hard. Oh wait, it actually takes something called love, and that's something I don't think you have. We get what I think is supposed to be this movie's trademark Disney sad scene, where Chicken Little actually wants to make his father proud. No wait, wants his father's love, and I am not going to let that go. And Chicken Little actually wishes upon the stars for it. So Chicken Little signs up for baseball, and is once again thrown to the wayside. He's not allowed to play, while Foxy Loxy takes all of the glory. Meanwhile, his friends start coaching him on how to be a better player. Speaking of Foxy Loxy, she's a character we're supposed to hate, while Buck is someone we're not supposed to hate. Enough said. Okay, how the hell do you make the spastic weirdo of the group cliché? I didn't think that was possible, but they apparently found a way.
This excitement isn't just about the fun of baseball. It's about the gloating and rubbing their noses in it. The na we beat you taunting, if you will.
And that's the main problem with the movie. That's the philosophy that everyone, and I mean everyone, subscribes to. Finally, at the championship game, Chicken Little is forced to go out. His coach tells him not to swing and get a walk. Chicken Little decides to ignore his coach's advice and actually tries to hit the ball. He gets 2 strikes, but against all odds and all probability and all logic, he actually hits the fucking ball. Then they throw in all of the baseball cliches. He's stuck in a daze, he runs the wrong way, the players have a hard time finding the ball, and Chicken Little just barely wins the game. I thought all of that shit died in the 90s. So they win the pennant and carry Chicken Little away, completely ignoring Foxy Loxy, who actually got them to the pennant in the first place.
Yes, we won! We won! That's my boy out there! That's my boy!
You shallow, petty, blithering, idiotic, cruel asshole! I would urinate on your grave given the opportunity. I feel nothing but contempt for you. Contempt and disgust. I don't even want to continue this, but since it's my job, I will continue. We cut to that night, where Buck is pretending to be a good father, and that makes me hate him even more. By the way, do you know how much baseball is mentioned from this point forward? No, really, take a guess. It's mentioned only once. Now we enter, I guess, movie 2. Chicken Little thanks the star, but it seems to be getting bigger, and then he gets hit with a piece of the sky. He hides it from his father, and when he looks again, he sees that it's disappeared. Except it hasn't. It's got camouflaging capabilities on one side, and weird computer technology on the other side. He calls his friends and... What the fuck am I looking at? Chicken Little shows them the plate, and we get another talking head scene that tells us... nothing! Fish presses a button on the plate, and it ends up taking him into the sky. His glow stick gets stuck in the sky, so his friends go running after him, only to be stopped by Dick Asshole. I'm sorry, I meant Dick Asshole. I'm sorry, I meant the worst fucking creature I've ever had the misfortune to know. I mean Buck. It's totally pointless.
You gotta be ready to listen to your children, even if they have nothing to say.
Da, 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 da. So they run after Fish and end up at the stadium. Then the glow stick starts rotating like crazy. It creates a tornado, and out of the tornado comes a flying saucer. Sure, why the fuck not? Except, I don't know, nothing in the previous 40 minutes suggested aliens at all. No. Unless your movie is about aliens playing baseball, pick one or the other. They see that Fish is alive, and they go wandering through the spaceship to find him. We get hit with visuals that border on creative and cliche until the gang comes across this weird thing. It turns out to be an alien, and it follows them. They eventually find Fish, but it seems that Runt has been distracted. They find something that suggests that Earth is going to be destroyed.
Okay, that's it. We're running back to your house and you're gonna tell your dad.
What the hell is he going to do? No, seriously, what is a washed-up baseball star going to do against an alien invasion? They run into the aliens, who have just found that their child is missing, and they chase after the gang. We get a fat joke that's pounded into the ground, and the gang manages to escape. The alien child follows after them. Then we get a chase scene that lands the gang in a cornfield. The gang decides to ring the school bell to alert everyone, and I can't possibly see where this is going. And then we get a Signs reference because it existed. By the way, stop reminding me of better movies.
I need a soda.
And I need a vodka. Chicken Little rings the bell, and we get the weirdest flashback I've ever seen. When his friends are in jeopardy, Chicken Little finally rings the bell, and hey, we finally got something to like about him. Too bad they waited till halfway through the movie to give it to us. The bell seems to seriously hurt the aliens.
The alarm bell has been activated. Quick, get a camera crew.
Why would you put an alarm bell on a school? Forget it. Chicken Little says that there's aliens, but the flying saucer takes off before the entire town sees it. Yeah, I don't know what he was seriously expecting people to do against an alien invasion. Also, you've heard the saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm a dumb-witted idiot! This time Chicken Little's friends try to help, but no one believes them. Then Chicken Little begs his father to believe him.
You gotta believe me this time.
No, son. I don't.
Wow, my fucking god! When I thought that I couldn't despise a character anymore. Buck, do me a favor. Just a semblance of a favor. Ask one question. No, wait. Ask one simple word. One simple fucking word. That word is why. Ask why. Why did Chicken Little complain about aliens after so long of being beaten down by the world around him, and after finally gaining a reputation, and after finally having your approval? Do you really think that he likes being ostracized, being abandoned by his parents? Hell, if you know, you fucking short-sighted cock! I'm sorry, that actually kind of gotten away from me there. What I'm trying to say is that I have a new most hated character in all of media, and furthermore, I could not despise this movie any more than I already do. The alien ship takes off, and leaves the baby alien behind. Then the alien finds a moping Chicken Little.
Another Chicken Little incident last night. In one instance, an entire family of lemmings was sent running in fear. Unable to find a cliff, they instead began throwing themselves from the nearest park bench.
It's funny because Disney is the company that forced lemmings to jump off a cliff, which created the myth in the first place. And it seems like Buck is getting a shit ton of flack for Chicken Little's incident. Despite the fact that he deserves it, I don't know why. After all, it was Chicken Little who claimed that there was aliens, and Buck was right there along with the rest of the town not believing him. Chicken Little's friends try to console him, but they don't succeed. Then Chicken Little sees the alien and calls his friends. For some reason, Fish is able to translate what he says. Then we see that the sky really is breaking apart. It turns out to be an alien invasion, and they happen to be Kirby's parents. Kirby runs off to get to them, and Chicken Little gets grabbed by Buck. And finally, Chicken Little tells him off. Took him long enough. No, I didn't put that there. Yeah, instead of Disney painstakingly composing the songs for this movie, they've gone entirely with pop songs. I wouldn't complain except for the fact that this is Disney we're talking about. I know at this point that they had DreamWorks envy, but come on! Foxy Loxy tries to fight and gets vaporized. Meanwhile, Chicken Little saves the alien. Buck comes in and still doesn't fucking believe Chicken Little. So finally, Chicken Little talks it out.
You're never there for me. I mean, you were there when I won the big game, but not when I thought the sky fell.
We get it. Buck is an asshole. An alien invasion is not the time to attempt to do emotional moments.
But you need to know that I love you, no matter what. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like that was something you had to earn.
No. First of all, you're awful! Second of all, that's too little, too late. Third of all, you're awful! Fourth, that clearly wasn't love earlier. That was neglect. Fifth, you're awful! Finally, and probably the most important thing, aliens! So, Chicken Little shows Kirby to dig asshole.
By the way, I'd like to say I've always found you extremely attractive.
And Yes, that did come out of nowhere. You know, if they didn't force the girl to be the love interest, I would have said that this movie had a saving grace. But no, they literally forced her into it. So, here's the plan. They've got to go to the top of town hall. Buck pretends to be a good father, and at this point it's just really insulting. They eventually make it to the top of town hall after another chase scene. Finally, Buck's trust is put to the test. It just took, what, 10 fucking times? Buck comes out, and they both get zapped into the alien saucer along with everything else. And they come face to face with the great and powerful Oz.
Son did not take your kid. You were the one that left him behind. That's bad parenting, and I should know.
I'm wrapping it up. They let Kirby go, and we get another pop culture reference. Chicken Little and his father are nearly skewered, but Kirby talks Oz out of it. They get dropped, and the aliens come out. Then they go about fixing up everything. It seems like everything was just a misunderstanding. This is where the aliens pick their acorns. Ha!
Okay, everything's been put back to normal.
Stop reminding me of better Disney movies!
Except for this one over here.
Oh, by the way, they leave her like that because rewriting personalities is okay now.
But hey, I'm a dad. You know how it is with your kids. When they need you, you do whatever it takes.
When this incident wears off, or Chicken Little does something else a little out of the ordinary, Buck will be back to square one, perhaps even worse off, and Chicken Little will become even more disillusioned with his father. Buck learned nothing through this whole ordeal. Anyone else in the mood for some KFC? And it turns out that Chicken Little wasn't crazy about the sky falling either, which spits in the face of the actual fable that this movie was made from. You know, the one that said people shouldn't panic at the slightest provocation? What the hell happened to that?
Son, these people are from Hollywood. The one thing they will never do is mess with a good story.
Yeah, well, fuck you too! We end on what would have made a much better movie, a giant fuck you to the audience, and that was Chicken Little. Or the worst animated movie I've ever seen. Perhaps the worst movie, period, that I've ever seen. I suppose that other animated movies like Tentaclino or Marge Needs Moms are worse objectively, but no movie has enraged me as much as this movie has. It's horribly mean-spirited and unpleasant, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The plot is the fusion of two half-baked ideas riddled with cliches. The characters are either stereotypes, assholes, or both. The humor is almost entirely pop culture references. And Buck, well, I said it once before and I'll say it one more time, he's a big fat cock!